Hello, everyone. My name is Soul, and today I want to talk to you about a film titled Halloween Kills. You all know the legend. Michael Myers, every Halloween night, goes out and murders people, and then he murdered people again and again and again, and a lot of it didn't count, and then they rebooted it, and then like some of it counts again, but not all of it, and now we have Halloween Kills. And I'm not like your diehard Halloween fan. A lot of the horror legends, Chucky, Freddy, Jason, I'm really late to the party with a lot of these guys. But Michael Myers is the one guy, like I had the reboot Rob Zombie films, and I have yet to watch the original. And I said all this in my Halloween 2017 review. And this one, I was pretty optimistic that it was going to be good because the last one was fairly good, but the first one really felt like it was a setup film. And Jamie Lee Curtis, I remember, like, in an interview saying, like, she wouldn't come back to Halloween unless, like, the script, like, it had something and there was, like, really, really good shit in there. And I already knew they were doing a trilogy, but for me, this film was, like, the make or break, like, what was gonna set the tone for this trilogy. Because the first film really had the potential to be great, and I thought maybe they were just setting up for a great trilogy, like, maybe we were just establishing all the groundwork so we could, like, really do some cool shit for the sequels, and maybe they'll turn it around for the last film, but as it stands, Halloween Kills just kinda meets the same bar that the first film set, and if you're, like, the kind of person who just loves, like, your horror films and you just love, like, the spooky and the slasher films, it's a slasher film, let me tell you. There is gore. It might as well be a compilation reel of Michael Myers killing people with some other people talking here and there in between. And for a lot of people, that's exactly what they want. For me, I think they really could have done something really cool with Michael, like do some kind of psych evaluation on the townspeople, because mainly the story of this movie is the townspeople are finally rallying together to fight back Michael Myers. And it's basically a manhunt against Michael while he goes from person to person killing. And this is in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler, but he's making a blood trail of destruction on the way to his hometown, which has this really nice gay couple living there now. They're really nice. Um, but it goes about how you would expect, and there are certain tones that this film clashes with because, in one hand, it feels like, hey, we're gonna do the same spirit of the original films. It's just gonna be a slasher flick. It's gonna be goofy. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a nice Halloween treat. And then other times, it's like, no, this is a serious story. This is a blockbuster film. We're gonna take it really seriously. And then they try to add this whole plot line of the townspeople are becoming divided and that their hate and fear making them lose sight, and then they like start chasing this other guy. That was dumb. The whole chase sequence with this random ass dude was dumb. I didn't enjoy any of that. And the way it ends is pretty comedic, which will lead to my next segue, which is the gore. The gore in this film is pretty nutty. If you're a gore lover, this is the film for you. And I've seen Saw, all the Saws. I've never been like, oh, gore. Like it was satisfactory if that's what you're into. I'm not really into it, but it does give impact to certain scenes. And there are certain moments of this film where you're just watching it, you're just like in the suspense moment. You're like, "Ooh, what's gonna happen?" And then you look back to the screen and bam, blood and guts and brain goo everywhere, and you're like, "Holy shit." And it does add a little bit more impact to that. Certain moments though, they're just fucking meat confettis. They just start busting up. You're like one bullet. Like if it was just one single bullet, there would be like a giant explosion behind them. Unless it's Michael Myers. Michael Myers is immortal in this film. He might as well be canon immortal at this point. I think that's actually what they were trying to imply, that he is immortal. Because I definitely get that vibe for him, that he is just unstoppable, which does make him very menacing. But after a while, you start to feel like he's unbeatable, and that kind of loses some tension. Like, every single person that comes up to bat against him, you're like, "You're not gonna make it, dude. I'm sorry." Earlier in the film, they, like, teased that they were just gonna shoot Michael Myers down and that they were just gonna make a bloodbath out of him, and when we finally get to the showdown, it goes how I expect. I was like, "Okay, the townspeople are nerfed." I expected, like, shotguns. Like, this is a small hillbilly kinda town, right? Everybody should have guns. Why are they not just shooting him to death? And I'll let that, and I don't wanna get into spoilers how that results, but it's a little bit unsatisfactory. And just the way it ends, like, the final moment before it cuts to black, it was, again, kind of a letdown because I knew certain characters were gonna survive because I was like, "They're gonna carry the torch of Halloween," and, obviously, Jamie Lee Curtis is just on the bench this entire movie, which I understand. She's, I'm sure, gonna be, like, the main character in the finale, and in this film, we just have to remind you that she's alive and that she's doing stuff, I guess. She's really not. She's just kinda giving monologues from the hospital. The hospital is ultimately useless in terms of, like, what's going on with Michael Myers, but we spend, like, almost half the movie, it feels like, in this hospital, but that's not where the story's, like, actually happening, where Michael is going. Nothing to do with this hospital. So ultimately, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't feel like she gets enough to do. I'm okay with her, like, not combating Michael, but I want her to have things to do, or at least meaningful moments with her family. And the way it ends, it feels like, okay, the characters we've killed off didn't really need to die. They just kind of feel like we needed like a big end point. We needed a big murder for Michael to close the film off, and it's just kind of like, and I still feel like the finale is probably, it's probably still gonna happen, like, take place within this Halloween night. So this Halloween night consists of burning houses, people in hospitals, manhunts, and then we're probably gonna get the finale unless it takes place at a different Halloween. But who knows? But since I know that they're gonna make 100 more Halloween films in the next 100 years, and the fact that I know that, like, nothing of this film really, like, carries that much weight, it clashes tonally, it just doesn't feel like, "Oh, this is gonna be the Halloween film that I watch every Halloween." No. This is, I think, the second worst Halloween film I've seen. I enjoyed the first one more. That being said, it does have a lot of things I like. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of, like, fun, goofy slasher shit in there. There's brain goo everywhere. There is good acting. Jamie Lee Curtis is still a great actor. A lot of people are trying. I can tell a lot of them care about this film. And I can tell a lot of the people, like, in my theater really enjoy the film. They filmed some scenes where I live. I could tell that that might have been why it seemed so popular there. But, yeah, it was a really cool movie in the sense that it has very little purpose. This easily could have been a two-movie beat, and we could have chopped off a lot of filler. I like the idea on paper of Michael Myers versus the town. Fights an entire town. That's a really cool idea. But, they just didn't really execute upon that as well as they could have. That being said, I'm just gonna give my score. Halloween Kills gets a 7 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and until next time with that, I leave you.